What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for some trade recaps. So today we had a few shorts on ISNS and OCGN. So I'm going to go over those real quick for you. I'm down in the futures right now, so I'm down about 200 in futures. Obviously it's just like the play money account, so I might update that later because I'm still going to be trading futures in the afternoon. I was just kind of, I don't know, the trade reversed on me and I just kind of, mad because I was actually using the trading combine account, so then it's like, oh man, every time I'm using the practice account, it's like bam, I can trade, like, make crazy money it's like, and I'm not doing anything more than what you would be doing. Like, I don't have a bigger account or anything, but anyway, so I was down a little bit in the combine, and that kind of frustrated me because it's like, man, every time I trade in the combine it seems like I mess it up, but I trade in the practice account, it's like a no problem account. I'm always making good plays, and it seems like everything works out, but that's just how it goes. Anyway, my trades on ISNS and OCGN today were basically shorts out of the gates. These things were running up. So this thing, ISNS, was running up big time the last couple days. So this thing had a huge rush up from the fives all the way into the 13s. So this thing, actually, I lost some money on this thing back here. So back in this area here, I think I was like shorting it, or I don't know, so I was doing something and I lost money on it either way. So it was nice to be able to make all that back today and then some on it. So it was just running up for the past couple days on really nothing too crazy in terms of news. Like, there was some catalyst, but it wasn't anything crazy good. So I figured it would be a short. It was just about waiting for the setup. So today it kind of opened and it looked really weak. You had this kind of opening consolidation where it really just bounced and bounced and bounced. And if you look at the pre-market, right, I have these lines drawn just showing you the descending resistance and then the ascending support. And you can see that at this level it broke the ascending support. So right here around 825, that level was ascending support, and when it broke that, it showed that this descending support was going to hold as resistance and that this was going to probably move lower. So this gave me the confidence to look for a short trade right out of the gates. And this is something that I've been doing a lot more, is kind of trying to understand these kind of wedge patterns and understand kind of support and resistance pre-market, and if those hold up once the bell rings, see kind of where the stock wants to move. And this gives you a good understanding of how it's going to move and the possible direction that it might trend, right? So this was trending to the downside. So if it was going to hold a trade to the downside, it would need to hold this descending resistance. And you can basically see that if you draw this line all the way down, this pop here was basically right into that descending resistance, right? But obviously it broke that line here, and this is the thing, right? Once it breaks above this line here, and you can see it's fading, but then it's able to break above it, and that's when everybody gets in, because it's this descending resistance becomes support, right? So anyway, that's why this reversed, but I was all out once I was able to get my trades in the morning. So it had this kind of immediate flush, and then buyers came in, propped this thing back up to $8, but then it hit 8 and just could not break it and just ran into a ton of resistance. So I just started shorting it between the 780s and 770s. So most of my shares were in the 784 range, but I picked up some in the 770s when I saw it wasn't holding and it wanted to move lower. So then I was able to get some covers towards $7 and 750 range. It was a pretty nice trade there, almost 10% on the top of my shares, and yeah, just picture perfect short setup. And then obviously I was all out once it started to consolidate at $7 and move to the high side. And once it finished its move and kind of, I was looking actually back here at this top, and I was thinking of shorting where was it, this pop here, because it was into that descending resistance and it looked like it might fade. But then once it was able to break and hold above it, it showed that it wanted to be strong, and this wanted to act as support. So I didn't want to be shorting this thing in this area here because it was now going to act as support, and it looked like it wanted to move higher. So then I wanted to wait until you had a lot of sellers come in. So you really didn't have a ton of sellers here, and the buyers were still in control. But after that last big green candle, I think a lot of this was selling, and a lot of this, like, this is all selling. So then you can see the sellers just take over. And at that point, it was clear to be short. So I got wicked out real quick here for like a 10-cent loss, just because I was like scared that it was gonna, because it was so fast. It was like 60 and like 50, 60. I'm like, oh crap! I didn't want it to break, towards the highs and then go to $9, because this thing has broken out, right? Like last week it ran, so it just kept breaking the top. So shorts were getting crushed on this thing yesterday. So I didn't want to be that kind of stubborn short that just didn't want to realize the trend, right, and go against the trend, because you are kind of counter trend when you're shorting in this area, because it is looking like it wants to go long, but it's realizing that the kind of bulls are fading, and they're starting to cover their positions because they got the bulk of the move, right? Once this thing goes from 750 to 880, they've got all their moves, so they're selling, and so then you take advantage of that by adding and shorting into their selling. So anyway, so that was the second short on ISNS. Like I said, one loss because I covered here when it quickly popped, but then once I realized that it was just a fake, I re-shorted it and I got right back in. So nice trade. Obviously, if I would have held to the 750 break, it would have been an even nicer trade, but I covered most of mine in the 780s and 790s. Yeah. So that was a good trade. Made about $60 on this one. Not bad. So about $60-$70 on that one, and I'm up about 20, 25, 30 on OCGN. So it's about $100 a day, not bad. So OCGN, it was kind of this looking to see this consolidation, and then once it looked like it wanted to fail and then reject this consolidation, so I was shorting for a break of this kind of these wicks here, because this level, this $13 was acting as support at first once the market opened. So I wanted to see if once the kind of longs got out of it, we could see some selling pressure and then a rip down below that level. And you can see once it broke 13 and 12.90, it just ripped right down to 12.50 and then down to $12. Now I thought there'd be more support in the 12.30s or 12.25, so I was covering all of my position there. But unfortunately it did all break all the way down to 11.87. I could have held that and would have been a really, really nice short, but still up, close to 80 cents on my shares, 70 cents on my top share. So that's not bad, right? Not bad at all. Still a $25-$30 trade. Yeah, those are my trades for today on OCGN and ISNS. Like I said, I had some trades in the futures, but I'm down about 200. I was up maybe 150 in the practice account, but then I started trading the other account and I was up like $20, 25, and then I was down like 200. So it's like, damn. It's not frustrating. I'll probably go over that maybe in another video, but we'll see. For right now, I'm just kind of gonna probably take a break and come back in a little bit and reassess the situation. But anyway, that's that for the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I think that, ISNS is probably going to be another short. If you wanted to short this thing below the VWAP and use the VWAP as a stop, you could probably make some money. I think I'm done with the name for today because this thing can rip against you, so you want to be very cautious, be very careful. OCGN, I think it's had its run for quite a while, so I think you could probably hold this short and be a little more confident in it. But then again, you never know, right? So you don't want to be risking too much for too long. And VXRT was another one I was looking to short, and it did fade, but unfortunately I couldn't get shares, so nothing going there. BTX, man, just getting its head ripped off, but I figured that was going to be a short. If I could have got shares, I probably would have shorted it. And RHE, the other runner from yesterday, is just getting crushed, down almost 40%. Wow. Wowzers. But anyway, I'll go look at that chart real quick. Whew. Yeah, you can see there's just rejection at the VWAP, and then once it comes back up, tries to test the VWAP again, it just gets crushed. Almost $1, over $1 a share in like 2 minutes. Wow, that's just ridiculous. And I couldn't get shares to short of this either, or else I probably would have been looking at this for a short. But you can just see that VWAP just acting as resistance, right? That's the perfect VWAP rejection strategy. That right there, I made a video about like the VWAP rejection strategy for shorting. That right there is a perfect example of it. Just every time it comes up into the VWAP, you short it, and it just works to a T, right? Anyway, ISNS. Wow, imagine if I would have hold all those shares, right? $1 a share. Whew. Over $1 a share. Yeah, that's why I want to hold a lot of these sometimes. But with this being such a low float kind of runner, I didn't want to be holding, if this thing broke and then immediately flush back up to $9 from the VWAP, which it has a tendency to do, right? Like you look at these candles, like this goes from 780 to 880 within 3 minutes. And if you're like hoping for a break, hoping for a pullback, you're not going to get it. And, well, you did get it, but, if you sold up here, covered or something, you would have been, you would have been in a lot of pain. So that's why you want to be careful with these names. Take your profits when they're given to you. Obviously, it's nice to get back in for a short, maybe once it breaks the VWAP, and then use the VWAP as a stop. Like I said, you'd probably be profitable, but yeah. Well, no, you never know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.